It's a lovely day, man. It's a lovely day for realization. It's a lovely day for a lot of things. I mean, I guess it's a matter of perspective, how we see the world and how we're really looking at things right now. Because, I guess from my perspective is something that is looking at the gift of life on a daily basis more so than the curses that they bring. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the energy alignment, the energy reset is no joke, dude. That's we love doing those things for people. They have no idea until they experience it how beneficial it is, and it can last up to 72 hours. So, don't be surprised if you're just all kinds of shit going on right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the experiences with clients doing energy healing have been very interesting experiences for myself because being an energy healer, you don't really, sometimes you don't realize how powerful of a healer you can be when you get out of the way and you allow yourself to be whatever it is that you're meant to be in the moment, especially when you take a responsibility like that. As a healer myself, I've put people to sleep because it was like one of the easiest ways to help people understand themselves is to have those experiences, is to demonstrate these experiences. It's almost like out of body experiences to show you how light as a feather you really are versus what weighs on you because of what you think you are. You know what I'm saying? And hey, it's funny because we talk about this all the time, my wife and I, about how we don't realize how much weight we carry energetically till we start focusing on what's real, on the truth, on ourselves. And one of the things that stuck out to me was the heaviness that a lot of people carry on their shoulders, the burden, the responsibilities, and unhealed emotions and traumas, and it puts an energetic weight on the body to where they actually physically start to slouch and walk with their head down, you know, and they don't even realize that that is an energetic oppression that is a body signal, something that they could be paying attention to let them know that they're carrying a heavy load or a heavy weight, right? Some people manifest that stuff in physical weight, by their emotions. They're actually wearing their emotions. Now, people that are really good at wearing their emotions will have like kind of like, they will take on that physical weight unless they're really good at managing their emotions, because there's a difference between the two, you know? And I think we're starting to see that now when you put things into perspective and you see it that way, that it's a much smoother effort to navigate what's ailing you, troubling you somehow, or just not having the inability to misinterpret or misunderstand everything, because right now, today is a very interesting day because it's kind of floaty, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little floaty and it's very dreamy. And this is why I love astrology and, knowing more of these things and allowing this information to come in, is because that there's more than one aspect to each planet. Some people can associate Neptune with delusion, but also magical behavior of spiritual nature, right? Undiluting oneself, or dilute, but literally being caught in delusion in one way or another, not realizing that the Neptune has a way of taking you for a ride if you are ungrounded and imbalanced, right? And then we kind of like formulate everything together and realize that it's the astrology. It's this culmination of planets, songs, frequencies coming together, that are permeating our system and asking our bodies to respond to what the energies are around it, because it's our natural behavior, right? And when you come full circle and you realize that there's a bunch of strings that are being strung to play your song, is what Spirit is saying, to allow you to understand what the chords do, kind of like the frequencies or the chords that allow you to better understand why you get into shitty behavior, or being, hanging around with obnoxious people, or, and this is the beauty of what they're teaching me simultaneously when it comes to astrology, because Each planetary influence has a yin and a yang, like an opposite, a positive and a negative. You know what I'm saying? And depending on which planet influences us the most, it takes that frequency and it amps it up. So today being Neptune and Mercury being of influence today, you realize that Neptune, if you're ungrounded, then it could lead you into delusion and meaning that you're not seeing everything correctly because you're just dreaming about it. You know what I'm saying? You're in some type of space that doesn't allow you to be aligned and grounded in the moment, right? But then when you realize that aspect about yourself, when you realize that aspect around yourself, excuse me one second, I got distracted. Then you take the positive aspect, and understand that this is a very spiritual connection with the planet. It's part of your spiritual evolution. And then Saturn comes in and enhances structure behind that spiritual ascension or delusion. So, you know what I'm saying? Depending on where you're at, you can either go either way. You know what I'm saying? And my wife tells me, and showed me this, it's ones and zeros. It all starts with that initial choice on whether we're going to do the same shit over and over again or whether we're going to do something different regardless of how it makes us feel, you know? And it's a very profound lesson in life when you start doing the ones and twos in a sense. It's like, okay, does this work for me? Does this not work for me? Do I even belong here? You know? And, and I think that's the funny aspect about it and what makes spiritual choosing, from a place of intuition, discernment, and guidance, fun. It does. It makes it really fun because it actually causes you to focus deep down into your core of who you are and understand yourself more and better. You know, my wife is going to do this manifestation seminar very soon. That's going to teach us how we need to manifest with an open heart to better understand that we literally play with the frequencies just as much as these planets and the universal construct plays on ourselves, plays on our soul, plays on, you know what I'm saying, to the harmony in which we all succumb to in one way or another. And I think, that is just a beautiful expression and a beautiful way of saying it's like, hey, pay attention to the song that you sing because the song that you sing is your physical reality. And the song that you sing is based on the frequencies that are inside of your mind that store information, memories, you know what I'm saying? Communication. When it comes to tuning into yourself and understanding that there is a man made construct that is deeply ingrained inside your brain that does not allow you to see the same, and basically the way I understand it's like what we're talking about here, you know, I believe that that is probably the most fluid transformation that you can presume yourself upon or to assume yourself. In other words, answer the call and assume your right, assume your divine self, and stay in alignment with what is true to you. The Great Mother, this planet, your groundedness, your stability, everything that you need from her is also you, especially if you are a woman, You just have this spark of creation and the essence of knowledge and wisdom that comes from the Creator inside of each and every one of you. Men build that too. And here we are. Here I am. We build that connection with the Creator as much as women do. But women are bestowed with it. It's passed on through lineage, and I believe that there's like kind of like a respect that we need to have for that sense of ourselves, especially if we are a feminine or a woman, you know. Dignity, duty, responsibility is something that I'm literally incorporating even more into my life now as my spiritual structure. And I understand this because I learned it from that very discipline of honoring the feminine within myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not telling you that you're special. You know you're special because you can feel it. You might not necessarily be able to explain it, but you know it because it's inside of you and it sings to you just as much as the songs outside of you. So again, it's about selection, perspective being perceptive, and aligned, doing the homework, understanding the spiritual self, returning to your divinity as God intends it to be so. It's something about divine rhythm and flow and how we need to know so that we can grow. This comes from a very, like, very, very compassionate space because it's almost like it demands that you respond in accordance with it. So excuse me, because it's new to me. And it came in while we were talking about the feminine aspects of ourselves. So this is very, it's divine knowledge, is what I'm being told. Well, I guess I'll give myself a moment to figure that one out because I'm not exactly sure what I'm channeling at the moment. But I know it's in the distance and it's coming forward, and I'm cool with it, And I guess it's asking for acceptance because when you channel these energies, especially if they're foreign to you, asking permission is a right. When we channel this knowledge and this wisdom and this transformation aspect of ourselves that's happening right now, whether people want to realize it or not. I know you guys are all feeling something. I have to say that. That I know that people are feeling something within themselves that is indicating some type of higher calling, right? Some type of influence or motivation, a speed like no other is what Spirit is saying, to better control yourselves and understand that the theory of your thoughts is not a theory, it's a realization of the thoughts that you think being the thoughts that create things, and it's a very humble approach to a profound understanding that when our thoughts are triggered, they become things rather rapidly, and that is the story of creation and how we unfuck ourselves is what I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we come to that realization where our innocence and our alignment and our energetic awareness of ourselves is really important, but we also have to balance that with the physical, that in not being dreamland or la la land that somebody's going to save us. No, you are the active participant in saving yourself. You are the active participant. You are the constructor. You are the participant of the creation of your dreams, your goals, your ambitions, your desires, and your lessons. To know oneself, to grow, is what I hear. And I have to say that, energy healing and alignment, or getting into alignment and getting to really know and grow in a spiritual way where you realize that it's not a lifestyle, it's a way of life. So you make a commitment to be that every day and show up for yourself and do the things that make you feel uncomfortable, because those are the things that are going to surpass the old you. Now, I was doing they're referencing right now about, I was doing some South Node research, because I find astrology intriguing, like a lot of people know. And what I've come to discover is that certain attributes from our South Node, or our certain energetic imprints that we come with here to this world to overcome, right? And you could almost associate it with some type of ego or an accomplishment that needs to be had for you to rise into your North Node, step into your destiny and your power, right? And it talks about this journey in just two little fucking steps right here, ones and zeros right here, right here. That you started at the bottom and now you're somewhere over here, but you're moving over to your destiny. You're moving into the energy of your destiny, you know? And this is what's happening here, is what Spirit is saying. It's allowing you to lose control only to access what you actually know. Right? And when they say lose control, it's about dropping the ego, or dropping the sense of self, the prideful, the ignorant. It's about understanding the energy body and the sacred soul, the sacred self, and how all those things to come together, and how they work, and how they respond, and how they orchestrate, and how they feed off of one another, right? You know, and that's where you get into that deeper understanding of yourself, how your energy moves, how you move your chi, how you manifest, how when you speak to others, do you speak with grace? Do you speak with compassion? Do you speak with openness? Do you speak with a respect for the fact that everyone is on their own journey? Or do you judge? Do you have an opinion? Do you have some type of assumption that is associated with everything that you are seeing outside of yourself? And that in itself, again, It's another indication that you are disconnected with the Great Mother, with the root, with the sacred self, with the fact that you are this, that this is also a part of you. And I think that a lot of people would embrace that within themselves if they knew that they walk with the earth on a consistent basis. It's not just the steps that connects us. It's the energy itself that binds us here, that allows us not to float away. It allows us to enjoy and embrace this reality for what it is and respect it also for what it is. But again, it's like the natives have said, we have disrespected the mother and we have become disconnected from it. Therefore, we have also become disconnected from God. You know what I'm saying? So we've been connected from the sacred source or the sacred sun, and we've also been disconnected from the very thing that we've been walking on time to time, or from time to time is what they wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? So when we actually, and this is what I'm doing right now, fam, and you could do it with me, is that you could take your hands and put them to your side, okay? And just let them fly, and just open your hands and allow yourself to receive what the Great Mother provides, you know, and breathe that in for a moment so that way you guys can see what we're talking about. It only takes a moment to know you, to be you, to do you, right? It only takes a moment to fuck yourself up too. Why not take the time to not enter so many rash decisions? Is what somebody said. You know, it's about honoring the Great Mother and understanding that you are here to also receive that too from her as you continue on your experience, because it's the life giver, the life bringer, the gatekeeper to all that is, and you walk on it every day, not necessarily allowing yourself to embrace it in the gifted ways that you have the ability to embrace what it is that you are seeing and what I'm saying, you know? And all you have to do is literally open up your hands, feel where your feet are at, right here, right now. Can you sense that energy in your feet? Can you sense the energy in your hands? Can you feel it calling to you? Can you feel it pulling to you? Can you feel it filling you up inside? Can you feel it taking away something from you? You know what I'm saying? These are very profound questions. And I know a lot of people out there will find this very intriguing, because this is how you really get to know you in one way, shape, or form, and learn how energy speaks to you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like fun to some, you know, but it could be a pun for many, because a lot of people don't take this seriously, is what they're saying, you know? And we don't respect ourselves to the point where we want to know ourselves. We want to assume all over the place. It's like, yeah, my chakras are aligned. You know, yes, I'm aware. Yes, I know. But when you open up your mouth in a place of discernment, in a place of openness and honesty and willingness to see the truth and clarity for what it is, you will know inside of yourself when you speak a lie to yourself and how much it affects you. And when you realize that your energy and is your currency, and you also realize that you have to be mindful of what you speak, then you come to the realization that you've been selling yourself short for a very long time and it's not your fault. But now it's your time to shine. What are you going to do with this knowledge, this wisdom? What are you going to do with this information from above? It's a decision that we all need to learn and to grow to make for ourselves. But at this juncture is what Spirit is saying. You have an open opportunity to accept what is true to you and honor you in this time of revelation without fear of the unknown or the uncomfortable. There's this thing that I'm working with right now. There's this program that I'm building, and it talks about how we do one structured thing a day, or we do one structured thing a week, where we confront something that makes us feel uncomfortable. You know, it's similar to face your fear, right? But when it comes to mastery within yourself, you have to be the humble teacher and the student simultaneously to be able to accept this knowledge, right? So you realize that you can't get triggered at your own bullshit. because you're just overreacting. And the only reason that you're overreacting is because you're out of alignment and you don't know how to react in those type of situations because you don't have the discipline, right? You don't have the energetic awareness to know when you're overreacting, when you're being anxious, what energy is yours, what energy is not yours. What are you going to do about that energy? How do you alchemize that? How do you transmute that? How do you change it up? And how do you protect yourself from it? And it's funny because a lot of people want to know how to protect their energy, right? A lot of people want to protect their energy, but a lot of people don't want to learn how the energy field goes, how it works, in order to protect themselves better, you know, or be more self-aware or know themselves on a level where they don't have to walk around thinking about a bubble all the time. You know, don't get me wrong. It's not about you use your imagination when it comes to that space. It's the best thing that I encourage to mentees. Use your imagination on how you protect yourself because that's where the most love and compassion comes from. It comes from your innocence and your purity. And these are why our manifestations are all fucked up, is what Spirit is saying, because we don't put our heart, we don't have the essence of passion that we are meant to place onto things. They're diversified into other things, and we're not realizing that we're doing a half-assed job when we're asking for something from the universe, you know? And it's all about frequency. It's all about what's up in here. It's about what you're communicating with and how you're communicating with it, right? So again, when we understand those things, we go back to the energy itself and understanding rhythm, flow, harmony, succession, how we go up, how we level up, how we shift, how we move through time. Believe it or not, how many of you have forgotten shit lately? Normally don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not everybody, but it's not everybody, but it's somebody out there. I know y'all hear me, you know? So, man, the theme today, I gotta say, yeah, no, spiritual hygiene is key. The theme today, I gotta say, is all about learning and growing, man. Learning and growing, because it's all about change and how you embrace change, because everything's never the same. In a breath, everything changes. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with a, we're dealing with I don't, we're dealing with an organism that is constant change. It's always moving. It's always shifting. It's always changing. That is the universe itself. That is the essence of who we are. We're always moving. We're always changing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're never the same person that we were a day before. And some of us just have a hard time embracing that very fact because we don't realize that, and this is part of the teaching, is that yesterday doesn't matter anymore because now you're a new person today, so you can't bring the old rules to a new game. But there's many levels to that because there's cycles and patterns that are all assumed to be the same. And when we become more in tune and in depth with ourselves, we see these things because we can feel them. We know them because there's changes within us. We know that these things happen because we have our energy body and we are paying attention to the rhythm inside of ourselves and our soul. You know? So, like for instance, there's a lot of heart related issues going on right now, right? Matters of the heart, purification of the self. A lot of people may be taking things internally right now, trying to bottle it up and trying to cage it in. But the reality of it is there is no cage. It can't be caged no more. And that's why it feels the way it does in your chest space, because collectively we're being opened, but we're being opened to an opportunity, and the initial blooming of this opening that is happening to a lot of people right now is very painful, you know, but it's also an opportunity to embrace it and learn and grow from it, or to continue to assume that this is just painful and you live a life of punishment somehow because you cannot get out of your own survival self. And my wife and I were talking about it today because the imposter. The imposter, the ego, the false sense of self. When you intend to go the other way, that gets ripped away and it doesn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? Most times, depending on how stubborn or how ignorant or how much we want to punish ourselves from our survival space, because we had to be that way in order to gain the discipline, just to be in the place that we needed to do, to have the revelation of where we are now, and emotionally set that free and be like, no, I'm not a slave anymore. I'm not a survivor. I'm not I'm not the old self anymore. That today is a new day, and I cannot be my old self in a new day. And then you take it day by day, especially if you are very soft or very sensitive, overly emotional, maybe even ungrounded. You know what I'm saying? Which I could say we could check back to the earth exercise that we just did. And we could sit in a chair or be wherever the fuck we are right now. It doesn't matter, even if you're in public. Just imagine yourself in a shield and allow your hands to open up to the great mother beneath you. And she showed, everything will be shown to you as you breathe it through. Because it's almost like if this is energetic awareness. This is the sacred self. This is understanding it too. This is also part of mastery if you're interested in that, you know, unless you want to be comfortable, which the energy won't allow it, to be honest with you. You're always going to be stagnant, but in a way that you don't want to be. So when you open your hands, just like I did, like literally, they're just at the side, kind of like sloop down. You can almost feel that energy pulling at you. Some people will say, oh no, it's the blood rushing into my hands. I'm like, wait a minute, give it a second. How about now? It's almost like a wind comes off your hand. And it's almost like you have wind at your feet and you don't know how. But here we are, and I know you can feel it because I'm being told that you are, because there's no ignoring the very thing that you are. And that's important for us to understand as well. And one of the easiest ways to check in with yourself right here, right now, is to do exactly what we're talking about. Is to open your hands up to the great mother beneath you and allow her to feel you, to show you, and to know you, so you could realize the real you inside of you. Ooh, that's good. See, it's a deep, compassionate space. And this is basically the environment that we help people create for themselves here at Four Corners Healing and also Womb. You know, this is what we do for people. This is how we help people. This is transition and transformation. People that are truly looking for authentic spiritual answers to understand their own divinity, with examples like here, with showing you how the energy works, and then also being able to assist you and help you learn and grow, because certain pain points might come up when you connect to the Great Mother. And you might not necessarily know how to deal with those things or how those things are happening to you, but you know something is going on. And not a lot of people are used to investing in themselves or reaching out for help. And those are fears that they also have to understand, limit them, and keep them in places where they don't belong. And then they come on here looking for answers and looking for clues, only to run into another 72-hour period of having to do the same thing over and over again until they are willing to face themselves. We're in this consistent seeking. It's like an obsession, fam. You know what I'm saying? When we need help, we ask for it. But what the universe provides might not be necessarily what you are thinking is help. Because if it doesn't build you, then you won't grow. So how is it that you expect to have those things? Or have those things fulfilled and honored in your life if you're not willing to make the commitment and devote something towards it. And the easiest way to understand that is look at the way that you devote to yourself by your own awareness of how energy grows and flows inside of you. You know, Reiki teaches this. We teach this. Energy healing teaches this. Sound healing teaches this as well. And we do all those things here. You know, it allows us to have more of a depth perception to ourselves like no other. Because I believe that this is kind of like the missing piece in a lot of people's lives, is not having the energetic awareness that they need to have, which is the responsibility of understanding the energy body and the energy being itself and how it interacts with everything around itself. You know, it's not really a science lesson. It's more so understanding the science of it and how it works and how it works against you, but also how it works for you. Because the key element is, like, a lot of us see how it works against us because of their trials and tribulations, but how many of us actually look from that perspective, not blind positivity, from a grounded perspective of what's happening, looking at the blessing in the moment and not cursing it for what it is, you know? And energy teaches us these things, you know, because energy itself is a teacher and it has a very profound language on many levels in many civilizations. So, what's up, Jamie? How are you today, ma'am? Hello, Mark. Welcome in. Amna, hello. Welcome in. I'm channeling, so we don't know what's happening until it happens. It's a very intense. Oh, okay. I know which Jamie you are. I had a feeling. Hi. Hello, Betty. Welcome in. So anyway, fam, while I'm sitting here waiting, I'm just letting you know that if you guys would like any energy healing and reading today, it's just $25. You know, the links are in the bio for those type of energy readings and healings. You know, and you know, doing the channel messages here. Just understand that a lot of all of this stuff comes from spirit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you'll know when I'm here and I'm just talking, versus, you know, being able to share the message with all the people out there, you know, about the healing space and understanding their bodies more and understanding that they're not, you don't have to be in survival mode anymore. Like, it's cool to be you, and knowing how to be you and your authentic self and the energy that brings so much fruit into your lives is really important, you know, because you'll hear me talk a lot about it, but it's like, oh, well, how does this work in my job? How does this work in fucking what I'm doing right now? How does this work in raising my kids? And I'm like, well, guess what? All those things that Jose talks about all the time will align you into having the clarity and allow you to know those things for yourself. You know? So, you know, when it comes to alignment, we understand that this is kind of like a critical thing that we should pay more attention to. Not be obsessive about, but know ourselves and how we interact with the energy around us to be more intuitive and more discerning, and not necessarily put ourselves in places of stagnancy, comfort, you know, but not a comfort from a consciously comforted, you know, from an old place where we want to be comfortable. I was talking about this a couple of days ago about realizing that you got more shit to do than what you've been anticipating you have to do, because you've been doing this con job, trying to trick yourself into feeling comfortable and not having to do the thing that you need to do because you can't stand it. It makes you feel like shit, you know? And then we talk about all the correlations that hits, because it's like, that's kind of like how life works, man. And it dawned on me, because I was a mechanic for a very long time, and I always did the hardest shit first because I wanted to make it easy for myself. But that was an experience within itself that I had to learn that over time, practice over and over and over again, you know? And now here we are on the other side of the fence with Neptune and everything that's happening right now in the transition, right? And they're mentioning up until the full moon, we're going to be going through these things about not only doing shit different and not assuming the old energy, but being more welcoming to what's actually being presented to us, instead of just focusing on the fact that you have to do this or that or this and that and this and that in a certain way, and allow yourself to do it in a more conscious way. So I'm not sure if, okay, that was on point. Okay, thank you. Because I got a little confused towards the end when it was coming out, so excuse me. Well, I mean, you could book a session, lady. We do soul counsel. You can go to fourcornershealing37.com. You can reach out to me there. If you're interested in getting a session, a soul counsel, I'd be more than happy to catch up with you there. You know, it's a sacred space. There's no judgment, and it's pure spirit, dude. And you can get everything that you need there. It's the soul counsel service. And I'm also doing alignments. I know you do Reiki and shit, but I'm also doing energy alignments and nervous system resets. We're having a special right now, $33 off that. It's an hour and 15 minutes, and we realign the whole space and set you up for, get you nice and straight. And it's all energetic. Yes, it's online. You know. We do have, yeah. It's a one-on-one. It's not. It's online. It's a one-on-one thing. But I am doing a Reiki circle on the 20th. You can look at the events page on our website. You can get more details there. There's tickets there. The cost is there and everything. I'd be more than happy to engage in that space. I encourage people to go to the Reiki circle, because it's nothing less than profound. You know, you allow yourself to be healed by the divine and myself. Yeah, definitely. It's on the events page. It's actually the calendar that literally pops up at the beginning of the website, man. There's also a coupon code you can use there. It's called Reset25. Reset25. Yeah, I'm doing another one, Don, so you're more than welcome to join. Tickets are already ready to go. Tickets are on sale. It's going to be a big event, is what Spirit is saying, because we got a lot of new energy here. It'll be nice to harvest and actually be able to use in our lives in a more positive and focused way. And then, and then you can go to my wife's manifesting seminar after you get that off, and learn how to manifest in the true way, in the authentic way, and understand like the faux pas of how it didn't get there and why it didn't happen simultaneously. It's the real deal here, man. I'm telling you. Everything comes full circle in this camp, dude. So anyway, much love to each and every one of you. I'm gonna get up out of here, fam. It's been wonderful being able to share these beautiful messages with each and every one of you. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna post this. Check it out on YouTube. Leave a comment. Please share this with somebody who you think can benefit with the knowledge and wisdom that we share on this app. You know what I'm saying? So again, thank you all for being here, and thank you for being you. Much love to each and every one of you. Stay beautiful.